Well, hello and welcome. Well, let me say a big thank you to Martha Krenzel for sitting in while I was away, but hey, I am back. And it was a good break, well-deserved break. Today, we are looking at the ban on sex drugs from the FDA. Now, I'm going to tell you a little story so you get a perspective of where I'm coming from. Now, once upon a time, a man boards a trotro, as they always do, and they are selling their medicines. And so he says to the people in the trotro that if you know that you are pregnant and you don't want to lose your baby, don't call me. Even if it's 6 months and you don't want to lose it, do not call me. If you know you're going to have anything and you want to get pregnant, so by the time he gets to the next junction, before he tells the people what actually the medicine does, it's already sold out. Now, here's the case that, if you know you're a man and you're weak in this department, don't buy this drug. If you know that you don't want to prove yourself high and mighty, do not call me. So I can imagine all men thinking, well, you know what, that's exactly what I want. The drugs are being banned because they are too potent, and one might say that's exactly what we need, And if you're man and you're weak in that department, your ego, your self-confidence, and, the tremor of, darkness, getting at home in the evening and the missus calling you and you frightening. And here's the FDA saying that, no, you can't take this medicine. Why is that? We're going to have a lot of education because the mandate under which the FDA, has to cover, from veterinary to cosmetics to what we eat to premises, how many people do they employ to be able to manage this, to make sure that you and I are safe with regards to what we put on our skin, what we put in our mouths? That's the education we're going to have today. And I have with me the guy in charge of education and communication for FDA, Mr. James Latte. My name is Nana Nsakwao, and this is PM Express. And we're going to find out, with all these doomso and everything, there are little pleasures that we could, have so that we can even overcome all these hardships. Now the FDA is denying us. Don't move. I'm coming straight back. Well, thank you very much for staying. FDA bans sex drugs. How wicked is that? But I guess there's a good reason and the underlining. But before we even go on, some of the things, the Food and Drugs Authority is a national regulatory body under the Ministry of Health with the responsibility of implementing Food and Drugs Law of the 1992, PNDC Law 305B, to regulate and manufacture importation, exportation, distribution, use and advertisement of food, drugs, cosmetics, medical devices and household chemicals with respect to ensuring their safety, quality and efficacy. In exercising this mandate, the Food and Drugs Authority ensures safety and the wholesomeness of foods we eat. And the Food and Drugs Authority also ensures that human and veterinary drugs, household and chemical substances, cosmetics and medical devices are safe and effective. The Food and Drugs Board Authority have therefore regulated the following products under its mandate. And it starts with products, a whole list, things like soups and sauces, sugar and sugar products, pet food. Under tobacco, you have tobacco products, narcotics. Under biologics, you have vaccines. Vaccines, that's a whole topic on its own. Drugs, you have herbal medicines, food supplements, personal hygiene, and then premise, restaurants, some chop bars, canteens, hostel, food vendors, animal products, meat shops, abattoirs. I almost don't envy you.
You don't have to.
I almost don't envy you. With me is Mr. James Latte, who's head of communication and also in charge of educating the public on what to be aware of. Now, let me start with, as an individual, if I go in to buy something, how do I know, because they're all packaged nicely, how do I know this is FDA approved or not? Because I might have bought some in Nigeria, I must have bought some in London, happily. So how then do I know that this is good or not?
Thank you very much. And let me say good evening to all your viewers. Nanansa, the question you are posing is quite a difficult question, by one side. Good. When you are buying products, by our regulation, products that are manufactured locally in Ghana, you are supposed to have the FDA registration number, which when you register the product is given to you, is specialized to your particular brand of product that you are manufacturing. You understand? So when we give you that number,
for that particular medicine,
yes, for that particular medicine or that is locally manufactured.
Okay.
So you put it on it. I said it's a difficult question because, you know, there are times that people fake the number on it.
Oh dear.
So you go and buy the product. You see FDA registration number on it. But, well, it may be fake. Though it is, people find it, let me put this, people fear to do that. Okay. Though we found one or two people to do it. So I'm not saying that it's something that is rampant on the market. No. Okay. People fear to do that. Good. Now, that's for locally manufactured products. Now, when it comes to imported products, we do not demand that the registration number should be on it.
Okay.
And the reason is this. You know, for instance, somebody is importing a product from India. That same product is going to about 10 different countries. If all the countries demand that put their registration number on it, you can see how clumsy, you know, or let me put bulky the product when it comes to labeling. Okay. You see a whole lot of information, registration. So we don't demand that. Unless it's coming from outside and it is specific for you, like this particular product. Okay. It was made in China for a company called Kunlun. So especially for them, and they market it in Ghana. So they will tell you that because it's coming to only Ghana, put a registration number on it, which is permitted. Okay. So this is the issue. So you see, when you walk into a shop, we always advise that because of these challenges, when it comes to medicines, buy them from a premises that you've been buying your medicines that you trust. That's the advice we give. Okay. When it comes to food products, buy from places that you can trust. Because the reason is that if you should have a problem with the product, it can easily be traced. But if you buy it from peddlers, in buses, roadside, you have a challenge if there's a problem with the product. So these are some of the challenges that we have when it comes to that.
Then the next thing is, yes, we always hear, oh, we seized that drugs, it got burnt, it got destroyed, but we never hear that the owners got prosecuted or that there isn't any penalty that we hear of. Maybe it happens behind the scene. So I think it doesn't deter other people from, well, let's try our luck.
Yeah. In fact, this is a call that we've had from the general public, that they want to see people prosecuted. You see, we've had instances. I'll give you a very good example. We arrested a gentleman who had faked Augmentin. You know Augmentin, a very strong antibiotic. Now, this Augmentin, what actually happened was that it was being administered to a patient by a medical doctor. But the medical doctor realized that the patient was not responding to treatment. So he brought samples to us in our office to test. When it was taken to the lab, we realized that it contained purely starch. There is no single active ingredient in the product. Augmentin, it's a strong antibiotic. So we traced how the thing came onto the market. He said he bought it from a particular pharmacy shop. We got the person arrested. He told us that it was supplied by a Nigerian peddler. So we paid interest. The guy came to supply and was arrested. Now, when the guy was taken to court, unfortunately, he was granted bail. He jumped bail, ran away from the court, never came back. These are some of the challenges that we have. So what we normally do, we take some of the cases to court. We have a couple of cases that are being handled by the police headquarters at the moment. You know, but what we do is that we have something we call administrative fine, which we institute on you. And that administrative fine, the law, that's by LI 2206. That LI permits us to fine you an amount of 25,000 Ghana cedis, which is an administrative charge which you pay to the FDA. You are given a receipt for that. Now, aside that, we can decide to hand you over to prosecuted despite that amount. You know, but sometimes honestly what we go through is terrible when you want to proceed people to court. I mean, we go through a whole lot of things.
You see, when it comes to drugs, there's a lot of emotional and sentimental, because, you know, I could have died. I mean, I'm augmenting. Imagine I've had a surgery and it's infected and you're giving me starch. I mean, I could have died. So then 25,000, then from, you know, sitting about thinking, well, it's nothing. Because he probably has supplied 500,000 cedis worth of the goods. So I mean, why aren't we the punishment, you know, with that emotion attached to the punishment?
You know, like I mentioned, currently we have about 2 or 3 cases in court that we have asked that want the people prosecuted. Some of them we've already demanded the 25,000 from them, which they paid according to that law. But still we've asked that they process to court. And like you are saying, we are thinking that as people are named and shamed, as people are jailed, it will be quite a deterrent to others. You know, you were mentioning the law that FDA used to regulate. It was formerly the PNDC law 305B. But right now we are using the Public Health Act, Act 851, 2012. And that act has given some stringent measures when it comes to prosecution and such issues. That's the punitive measures. And it's formally, you'll be jailed for a maximum period of, I think, 3 years, between 6 months and 3 years. And then when you are fined, it's an amount of 500 Ghana cedis. That's in the 305B, the former law. But with the current one, the maximum is, I think, 25 years. And the penalty is about 1,500 penalty units. And one penalty is 12 Ghana cedis. You know, that goes about 90,000, you know, which is quite a deterrent. That's, you know, so like this is what we are applying now, you know.
But again, I mean, why are there too many fake drugs on the market? I mean, it's just rampant.
You see,
where are they coming through? Which ports?
No, sir. This is a global problem. You know this product. I'll tell you how FDA got to know that there was a problem with this product. This product was made purposely for the Ghanaian market. But it was found in the US. So US FDA sent us an alert that they found this product on their market. US found this product on their market. So when they tested it, they realized that it contained a chemical that we call Vedanafil. This is supposed to be a herbal supplement, but contained a chemical called Vedanafil. That Vedanafil is in a group of medicines, group of active ingredients in something like Viagra. Now, you cannot just walk into a shop and buy medicines containing that Vedanafil. It's supposed to be prescribed. You understand? Through the alert, we took samples from our market, took it to the lab, and confirmed that yes, it contained it. That's why we banned this particular product.
Can it just be changed from off the counter to a prescription drug?
You can't just do that. The reason is this: when we are registering products like herbal, the requirements are different from when you are registering like orthodox medicines. You understand? And with orthodox medicine, like if this should contain that Vedanafil we are talking about, and you come to register it, it goes through a whole lot of process, more than what we do for herbal. You understand? So you can't just say that I've added this, so I'm switching it as an orthodox. You can't just do that. No.
So you have to start the process all over.
Start the process all over again.
And the rest? I mean, is it that chemicals have been found in all the others?
You know, we did analysis on about, let me say, about 20 different. In fact, when we had information on this, we decided to screen the products on the market. That's the sexual enhancing product we have given approval to on the market. Now, when we screen them, we screen about 20 different products. And we found these 6 to contain the same chemical that was found in this Vedanafil. That's the reason why we found...
it's not a herbal form of the Vedanafil?
No.
It's the chemical...
It's a chemical. You understand? And you see, the challenge about this is this. If you are maybe hypertensive, or you have a particular ailment, a doctor will never prescribe that Vedanafil or any medicine containing it for you. Now, these over-the-counter medicines. So you just walk into the shop, you buy it. You are not aware it contains this. So if you are suffering from any of these problems, you can take this, you can die. You see the challenge? So this actually is a very serious offense.
And did you find a high dose or just a trace? Or?
Oh no, some were high, some were quite low. But you see, even if you should have a very little in it, it is an offense. It's not right. Because you've adulterated the medicine, number one. Secondly, you've deceived the general public that you are selling a herbal product. Meanwhile, it's not herbal. You know, we've had challenges. I remember about 3 years ago, we had a herbal product on the market. When we took it to the lab, it contained Valium, B complex. There's nothing herbal about that product. In addition, the person has faked the FDA registration number on it. It has not been registered.
Okay, now if one of these drugs come and say, look, I've come up with a herbal concoction that will make men stronger. I mean, don't you put it through any test that some red light will flash anywhere and say, oh, hold on, it's not all herbal, but there's something else in there. Are you just going to take their word as gospel?
You see, there is a small challenge here. And when I say a challenge, it is something that is globally accepted. But I'm using the word challenge for a reason. If, for instance, you come and submit this product to us, look, we have millions of chemicals. We can't say that we are going to test all those chemicals that are possible to go into this product. I mean, we are going to waste a lot of resources. We can't do that. So what you submit to us, the documentation, we test according to that. Now, if we have a suspicion or through usage by consumer, there's a complaint, then we do further investigation. Aside that, what we do is that there are times that after we've registered the product, we send people onto the market. They buy samples. We take the samples to the lab to do some extra analysis to find out whether the approval that was the medicine that we approved, that's the exact medicine that's on the market, or something has been added to it. And it's true that we are able to find some of these things sometimes. Wow. So this is a challenge. And you were talking about counterfeit. I don't want us to miss that area, how they get onto the market. You see, we have a big challenge as in when it comes to our borders. We have porous borders in this country. The law is this. As per regulation, medicines are supposed to enter this country only through two approved routes. Kotoka International Airport or Tema Harbour. These are the two. Even not Takrady Harbour, you can't take medicine to that place. You can't bring it through road. No, you can't. It's supposed to be only Tema Harbour or Kotoka International Airport, these two places. Now what happens is this. Somebody will visit Togo or Nigeria, will find a product, conceal it in other consignments, and bring it onto the market. You understand? There are even times that at the port itself, where the approved place that you can take your medicines through, somebody is bringing maybe food products, a whole container, and he conceals medicines, unregistered medicines, in the container. And you see, the challenge is this. You wouldn't expect that SEPs or immigration or FDA officials at the port are going to unload every single box in the container, open them to confirm what is in. You can't do that. The scanner that we have at the port scans homogeneous products. So when it comes, it will scan that, or maybe there's food in this. So you don't go into details. So this is all a challenge. What we do is that we do random sampling. We'll pick some of the boxes. And sometimes you pick the boxes, and what are in it are the right things. So I like to be cleared. That's why we have the post-market surveillance system. That when we are outwitted at the port, or things come through the border system, through post-market, we may be able to trace them on the market.
But you see, I was going through the internet, and I was looking at the things that, from dog food to skin medicine, hair product, tobacco, narcotics, canteen, hostel, floor polisher, wood polisher, hand clean. I mean, so how many people do you employ?
That's a job. It's a big job, honestly speaking. FDA, the whole country, our staff strength does not reach 500. The whole country. We have offices in all the regions. Together, we don't reach 500. And I'm telling you that officers working in FDA are doing their best, because job that about 6 people should do, you see one person doing it. Just before I came, an officer had gone for an operation. He just arrived in the office. One other guy. They have to go and do some work. You know, this is a challenge that we're having. But I must be frank with you that with the capacity of staff that we have, we are doing our best. Because the job that we are doing, I don't know, we are trying.
With all your meetings, because when I go to the, as soon as I go to the phones, I'm sure my viewers are going to find out that the prosecution aspect. Yeah. I know you say we are trying, we're doing this, we're doing that, but if there's 500 of you, then that's the 501 person you need. Is that hard crackdown not worthwhile going in that business? Because it's life and death at the end of it.
I agree.
Why is the state not helping you?
No, right now there is a ban, and this has been in system for quite a number of years, that you can't, government sectors, you cannot employ. You understand? That's a challenge. Yeah. So what we do now is that when we get the national service personnel, we train them. We use them a lot. People that come and do attachments, we use them a lot. That's what we do now. You know, because the work must be done. Yeah. We have to do the work. You know. So there's more resources that we are able to get. We try to use it to the best that we can do as an institution.
These caps, apart from, you know, have we had any complaints about people taking these capsules and complaining about them? I'm sure the men are happy that this thing is in there to, work in that department.
When this issue came up, I personally had a gentleman that called me. And the statement he made was that he's been used, I don't want to select one of the products, mention the products, but he's been using one of these products. And he said he's been having problems, but never knew that it was linked to the medicine. The advice I just gave was that he should go to the hospital to be examined by a doctor. That's what I just told him to do. You know, there are people that are having challenges, but some are not linking the challenge to this. I know a friend who took, it wasn't one of these, but one of these Chinese aphrodisiacs. He took it, he said immediately, I think 2 days after, he had blackout in one of the eyes. Up to now, one of the eyes cannot see. He said to that. So when he went to the hospital, before they asked him the medicine, they realized that he had a problem with hypertension. And taking the medicine wasn't good for him. So it affected him immediately. So these are some of the challenges. You take this, you build, let me talk about this issue. I was talking to a radio station on these aphrodisiacs. And I was mentioning something to them that we are having a big challenge in this country when it comes to aphrodisiacs. Some years back, what I know is that people that rely on this are old men. Where they've got it to a certain age that they cannot perform. And they go for this. But right now you have children, young guys around the age of 20, all relying on this. And what is going to happen is that with time, without this, they cannot function. Aside that, there may be a cumulative effect on their lungs, on their kidneys and things that may not be seen now. In future, it will be seen. So this is something that I think that we need to do a lot of education for people to understand that, look, don't be relying on this. Somebody will ask the question, why do you register it? You can't stop people from registering product. You have to decide that I'm going to use it, I'm not going to use it. So when somebody comes to register a product and the product is okay, why don't you register it? But you have to advise against it.
Let me divert a bit and come back, and I'm going to talk about advertisement, because I think it comes...
Good.
Now, the amount of alcoholic advertisement, and at certain times, sometimes bang in the middle of midday news, or who's approving all these things?
Now, sir, FDA approves advertisements when it comes to medicine. That's the products that we regulate, and that is medicines, cosmetics, food, household chemicals, medical devices, maybe tobacco, and some few other issues. Now, the challenge is this. Any advertisement is supposed to be approved by the FDA. I'm talking about the regulated products. But there are some of the adverts that do not pass to us. We have a pile of letters. As we are talking right now, we are speaking to the police headquarters to assist us to deal with people that are flouting advertisement rules in this country. I remember they were in Kumasi about 2 months ago to arrest some people on that. And it's something that we'll be doing because it is very bad. And I'm sorry, but I put the blame so much on the media. I'm sorry for saying that, but I have to say it. Okay. I put it on the media. The reason is this. If somebody walks to your station and say, play this advert for me, all you need to ask the person is that, is this advert approved by FDA? Where is the letter? Where is the script? Because we endorse the script. And we give you a letter. If the person is not able to produce a letter to you, you don't have to do it. You see, but the media thinks about the money that they'll get and don't think about the health implication of what they are doing. And I've been talking about this, that the media can help a lot, because I'm telling you, Nanansa, if somebody walks here and says, you are not going to do it because there's no approval, how the person going to do it? They can't force the station to do it.
I mean, I think that's one show that I need to get me to do it all over again, because there are indeed some dangerous adverts going out there, and the pollution that we are polluting the young ones is very, very dangerous. But I'm going to take a break. When I come back, another thing which worries me about the FDA is that, we've seen some sachet water which is not very healthy. We're not going to say who is doing it, but we are giving them 6 weeks to take it off the market. Number one, as a producer, how do I know which one to stop drinking and not? And within that 6 weeks, what happens? Stay tuned. We're coming straight back. Well, thank you very much for staying. I'm talking to James Latte, Head of Communication and in charge of educating us as to what to watch out for, what is good for our skin, our mouth, anything that comes into the country that we have to use, basically. And just before the break, I'll say one of my concerns with the FDA is that sometimes you hear in the news item that, we've noticed a sachet water producer who's not abiding by the rules. And we're not going to name them, but we've given them 6 weeks or 3 weeks to straighten his course. And I'm thinking, hold on. Don't we name and shame such a person and arrest and jail him and throw him in the dungeons? Why are we giving him 6 weeks and protecting his integrity?
As I see, regulation is not just policing. You understand? In regulation, sometimes you bring people into compliance. Let's look at our economy. We're having problems. You understand? When people are in business, you help the people to do the right thing.
Before you even learn, I mean, if he's a tailor, right, and he's stitching the things wrongly and, they don't fit well, no problem. But I'm going to adjust this thing.
That's why I'm saying that, depending on the risk, if we realize that what we are doing can create a very serious problem, immediately there's a way we handle you. But if we walk to your place and what we've seen is not that, though it's a mistake, but it's something that you can correct in this, we give you that opportunity to do that. Okay. We've closed a lot of facilities. We closed facilities. It's just that we don't bring all to the media domain. But a lot of things that we've done.
But you should, because it will deter somebody else.
And so you see, just imagine you own a sachet water facility. We've come to your place. You've employed about 6 people. There's a problem there. We've asked you to correct it. We've given you 2 weeks to correct. We've come back in 2 weeks. You have corrected. Why do you put you in the media domain? Yes, let's get a picture.
No, that's different. You see, that's different. That's different.
Yeah.
You're saying that if it's not life and death, you give me the opportunity to correct it.
Yes.
So that's fine. But I'm saying those who have flouted the law, which is life and death, tell us. So that if I was also coming into the business, this guy's business was closed down because they found rats there, so let me make sure I don't have any rodents. But if I didn't hear of it, our assumption is that it's free for all.
Yeah, Nanza, we do that. Though maybe it's not to the limit that you want us to do it, but we've been doing it, like a product like this.
Yeah, I mean, this one came out.
We name and shaped. Yeah. I remember there was a time we gave a whole list of sachet water that people should not use because of problems. A whole list. We published it. There are times that some autonomous medicines we published. There are times that we do it. But what we think that, you could just allow the patient to come to compliance, just keep quiet about it and monitor the guy.
One of the complaints too is that sometimes you become over stringent. Somebody brings a product. This is a product that's used worldwide by maybe GlaxoSmithKline. I mean, it's coming from a good source. It's been tried and tested. It gets here and is bring this, bring that, no, this, you know, and they are wondering, no, hold on. I mean, this is a good medicine. Let me bring it in. And then the FDA is putting all these stumbling blocks in it.
Now, I do know what the law says.
No.
The law says that any products that you are manufacturing, I'm talking about the products that we regulate, you are manufacturing, you are importing, you are distributing yourself, must first be registered by the FDA. Whether it's been registered in the US, in UK, Germany, the law says that it must be registered. So the requirements for it to be registered, you have to go through it. You know, it's very important. Now, sir, we register a product here that people see the product to be a very good product. When they take it to the US, they will not say that because Ghana FDA has registered it. Oh, it's okay, let's accept it. No, they will not say that. Why do we do the same thing for them? You know, let us not take, like you indicated rightly, medicines and things are not ordinary article of commerce. You know, and apart from that, it's not like a shirt that I'll wear. If it doesn't fit me, I'll change. If I put it inside me, either it's doing something for me or it's doing something against me. So when you are registering, you must make sure that you go according to the rules in registering it.
I mean, but should there be a leeway to say, let's say, if I was bringing, penicillin from one of these big pharmacy brands, and if I was bringing penicillin from an Indian company who've done their prototype and is coming, don't you, assess them differently?
Now, so what I know we do is that there are times that, we go according to the rules. We have a guideline. But what we do is that if, for instance, it's coming from a particular company, and we know the company very well, and we think that, there are one or two things that we may say that, we know about this. They brought their products here before, so we know about this particular issue about that. So we may waive that. You understand? But the point is that we don't compromise the procedure. Okay. We have to go through it. It's very important.
The some of the people whose drugs that you destroy, their complaint is that, look, we brought the thing here. I mean, apart from these ones that you found something in, I mean, we brought it here. It's taking through all these stringent tests. They are just the middleman, and they've bought it from somewhere who've told them exactly what it is, and they brought you. And then you turn up and then just destroy, killing their business.
Now, sir, FDA is not killing anybody's business. You see, when you bring a product onto the market, like I indicated, we have to make sure that the quality, the efficacy, or the safety of that product is maintained. If we have registered a product for you, and for some reason we found out that there's a problem with it, maybe subsequent manufacture, there's some defect, or maybe you've lowered the quantities that are supposed to be in it, and we found it on the market, we have to deal with it. Even cars are withdrawn. Cars, after they are manufactured, if there's a defect is found out, it's withdrawn. You understand? It's done all over the world. So if, for instance, you register your product and we find out along the line that there's a problem with the product, we wouldn't say that because you have passed through this process, we just sit down. No, we've got to deal with it. If it has to be destroyed, it has to be destroyed. I remember there was a time we had a consignment of blood tonics, a whole consignment, coming from India. It's a product we've registered. But we took sample and realized it was far below. They were all destroyed at the point. We didn't allow it to enter the market.
There's no way you could have altered it or say, like, relabel it to say maybe instead of 25 mil of, this is now 10 mil of that?
No, sir. No. You see, if maybe the problem of the product has to do with just labeling, we could say that we are allowing to clear from the port, keep it in a bonded warehouse, and supervise you to relabel. But when it comes to content, no, you don't have to compromise that.
Let me get my viewers to join in the conversation now, because I'm sure in one way or the other we have all been affected. You buy something on the market, you take it home, the next day it's broken, and you're thinking, Didn't they check it to at least know that this thing should have a month or 6 months lifespan? 0302 701 703 704. Numbers are on the screen, so just look on the screen and dial, and let's hear your concerns. Maybe you have been a victim of this thing. Let me go and speak to Jonathan. Jonathan Bongo. Jonathan, hello.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
I'm calling from Bongo High Street. People of Bongo appreciate the wonderful.
Oh, the line dropped from Bongo FDA. Maybe the line doesn't come under FDA, so I can't even charge them. Let me speak to Mustafa. Hello, Mustafa.
Yeah, Nana, good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah, please, Nana, I want you to help us. I'm calling from Boku.
Boku, okay.
Yeah, and the whole thing is that I can't confirm, but if you look at the market we have here, especially for this medication, we can say we are consuming things that we are not supposed to consume because our border seems to be the most porous in the country. People bring in drugs, and you see peddlers, even people from Niger, they come with this Chinese drugs. Some even in the pharmacies itself. I think FDA, if they can do the best thing, come once in a month and even go through, check on the products that are in the drugstores. Because you even buy a drug and you yourself will just know that if you take it, it doesn't just react to your sickness. You have to go in the prescribe, even in the drug, in the health facility staff are in Boku South. You can go and they'll prescribe medications for you. Take it. It doesn't help. It doesn't help. So it's nice to have a program like this. So wish FDA will help us, and then we check on these problems.
That's a very good call. I see James taking a note there. Let me speak to Bensford in Boku. Hello, Bensford. Have I still got Bensford on the line? Hello. Okay, so the numbers on the screen: 0302 211 701 702 703 704. Call in and let's hear your concern. But that call from Boku was quite intriguing.
Yes. We've asked our regional officers to do a lot of post-market surveillance activities. Go into shops and check the things that have been sold there. Because, you see, Nanansa, I think that licensed chemical shops, pharmacy shops, hospitals, owners of these facilities should be very alert where they source their medicines from.
So basically, you need our help too, because you can't police everything.
Yes,
Let me go to Walter Region and speak to Vision. Hello, Vision, you're on air. Can you hear me, Vision? Okay, let me speak to David. Hello, David. David? Can you hear me, David? Okay, I think we're having challenges with the line, but I would have really loved to hear the views of people, from all over. So please keep trying. Let me see if I can get somebody else, because when it gets to medicine, it becomes very emotional, when your mother or your sister or something has been affected. So, I mean, moving forward, how do we reduce this to the barest minimum?
Now, I believe we can do something about this. It's supposed to be a collective responsibility. People should not say that it's FDA's job or Pharmacy Council's job, so they are leaving it. Now, if you're a pharmacist and you are buying medicines into your shop, you have to be where you are sourcing the medicines from. Because of the issue of
let me see if I can help get here. Hello, Pakwesi.
Hello.
Yes, Pakwesi, you're online. Hello, Pakwesi.
Good evening.
Good evening. Pakwesi, let me hear your concern.
Please, I want to find out. Is it true that some of the pharmacy shops and the licensed chemical shops do sell fake drugs?
Okay, I think you'll answer that. Let me go and speak to Charles now. Hello, Charles.
Hello.
Yes, Charles.
Yes, hello.
Hello, Charles. What's your concern?
Yes, Yes, those who have stored the drugs right now in their shops, what should they do? That's the first question. Then 2, shall we know the drugs that are actually banned? Because I can see some drugs on the table, but I can't see exactly. The only one I've seen was Rockman.
Okay.
So you should let us know the drugs one by one so that we can be very careful as what to do next when we go to the shops.
Very good. I think that's an important point. But in the meantime, let me speak to Ibrahim. Hello, Ibrahim.
Hello, Ibrahim. Good evening.
Good evening. Lower your TV set and let me hear your concerns.
Yes, what I was about to say is what the last caller had just talked about.
Okay.
I think all the drugs will be on the screen so that we'll be watching, so that we carefully identify them one by one.
Thank you. That's important. Let me speak to Alex. Hello, Alex.
Hello.
Yes.
Good evening, Nana.
Good evening.
My concern is those Zambrama guys who holding those drugs around, going in the markets and everywhere. So those people too, what do you do to them?
That's a very good point. That's a very good point because I don't know if the FDA expects us to do a citizen's arrest. Let me speak to Kofi. Hello, Kofi. Hello, Kofi.
Hello, yes, sir.
Yes, you're on there. What's your concern?
Yeah, my name is Kofi.
Kofi, talk to me.
The person, the mom who said, Ubia ya dia ya ka ese so mu nya butere. No mu ye investigation. No mu hwemu yie ansana ombe prunye tini kwa omai. Amu sore pre ko pa no mu ye sa. Aya no ma ji om se jama MPP ko na asumu bi so omra mesa.
Oh, Kofi so so hwemu na o so mu hwemu na nya haban ko a na chemical fra. Enso ko mu to do se omu hwemu na ko omu hwemu na aduro no e de aba market se e ahahan aduro. Enso mu hwe na chemicals wom. They need to be in town, sir.
Hello.
Hello, Kofi. I'm saying, let me speak to Al Hassan.
Yeah, good evening.
Yes, good evening, Al Hassan.
Yeah, my concern is about this and even not only the drugs. I bought this can coke, and under it was like expired, and they cancelled. They use something to scrap it off. That will make people like very difficult to read what is under there. You understand? So it's like Food and Drugs Board. We are pleading with them. That's our life. We beg them every month. They should check all the shops in Ghana.
But they're only 500, Al Hassan. That's the problem. They're only 500.
I went to another drugstore. I bought another herbal medicine. You know what happened? When I went there, they gave me about four drugs. It's like a liquid one. There was no label on it. I asked them, how can I identify that this one is for ABC? And they told me, oh, my brother, you know, the tastes are different. I said, no, you label it. Put it on label. So that if I'm taking it, I know this one expired. If one, I can make the herbal clinic. You understand?
Yeah.
In Kumasi, I bought a Kumasi gas in front of a Metro Mass station. And they were having them plenty in the shop. When I take the medicine, they all have the same taste. But they gave me different, more than 5 of them.
That's good. Let me speak to Emmanuel. Thank you for the call. Hello, Emmanuel.
Yes.
Yes, you're
Good
there.
evening, sir.
Good evening. What's your concern? Have I still got
I want to ask them, what are they doing about the advertisement?
Okay, good.
I think they should do something about the advertisement because they are still advertising.
Okay, of this product.
Okay, I haven't heard it, but if you've heard it here. Let me speak to Abdullah. Hello, Abdullah.
Hello.
Hello, sir. Good evening.
Yes, good evening.
Good evening, Abdullah.
Yes, sir. It's actually the drugs we are talking about. Some of them, they have this severe headache if you take it.
Are you talking about the drugs that we've displayed?
Taking it, you experience a severe headache.
Are you talking about the drugs that are displayed on the table?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yes.
You have severe headache after taking it. I think your blood pressure bumps up. Let me speak to Lydia. I think my first lady caller. Hello, Lydia.
Yes, please. Please, I have problem with the labeling of the sachet water we are drinking.
Labeling of the sachet waters.
Yes. The water, any corner. Yes, please.
Yeah.
Any corner you pass, you see people producing water, and there is this food and drug board label on it. So actually, we cannot tell which one actually has been registered, which one has not been registered. If you go to Tamale, every household, every 3-4 houses is producing pure water. And most of them are not registered.
I see.
And that is my concern. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Lydia. Let me speak to Musa. And Musa is going to be my last caller, and I'm going to try and get Mr. Lati to answer as much as possible before he goes. Hello, Musa.
Yeah. Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Hello, good evening, sir.
I'm speaking from Aflao.
Okay, let me hear your concern.
My problem is that even it's not about the drugs that you display on the screen. Licensed hospitals are selling expired medicines to their clients, those who are holding health insurance and other things.
Expired drugs.
They are selling fake drugs to them. Okay. And I'm pleading to Food and Drug Board or to do something about that.
Thank you very much, Musa. That's also another good point. Well, over to you, James.
Yes, let me try. There are a lot, but I'm trying.
As the camera zooming in into these products so that viewers know exactly what products we are talking about.
Yeah.
It's quite important. Yeah.
Okay, I know a couple of callers spoke about expired products. You see, when you buy a product, it is your responsibility as a consumer to check if the product is expired or not. That is why it is placed there. It's for the consumer to look at it. When you see that it's expired, do not patronize it. If you notice that they've tried to deface the expiry date, try to rub it and rewrite, once you are not sure, don't patronize it. And you can report to the FDA or even to the police because it's a criminal offense to sell expired products. That's one. Also, I want to mention this, that somebody asked a question whether licensed chemical shops and pharmacy shops can sell fake drugs. Yes, they can. Yes, they can. So the point is that is why when you buy from there and there's a problem, you report it. We can trace it back to that place. Yeah. But the advice we will give to licensed chemical sellers, pharmacies, and hospitals is that they should be where they source their medicines from. Or when you sell a fake medicine in your drugstore, in a pharmacy shop, or in a hospital, you are liable.
You can't pass on the blame?
No, you are liable. You are selling it to the person. You should know what you are buying. It's very important. That's why.
What if he says, look, I bought it from a trusted source?
No, sir. You are a professional. You understand? So you should know what you buy. If you know, for instance, NS Chemist brings this product into the country, why don't you go directly and buy from NS? If it is fake and it's from NS, we'll go to NS. Because for that one, we know that this is where you are buying from is the importer. But you don't just buy from anywhere and say you bought a fake product and put the blame on somebody else. No, you can't do that. So that advice we give to sellers. Aside that, somebody mentioned about peddling of medicines. Please, medicines are supposed to be sold only at 3 places. Either pharmacy shops, licensed chemical shops, or hospitals.
That's it.
Medicine is not supposed to be sold in buses or markets. So consumers should not buy it. We will do our job to be arresting such people. Very soon we do a swoop. We've done it some time ago, we do it again. But we are advising consumers, don't buy medicines outside these places I've mentioned. So when somebody is selling a lorry pack, don't buy it. In a bus, don't buy it. Buy at the right premises. And then you are saving yourself.
But you see, quickly, 30 seconds. I mean, there are some villages where the nearest shop is probably 20 kilometers away, and therefore they wait for this guy to come probably every Tuesday with his rubber bag. I mean, who's looking after them?
We are working on something to do some education in the villages. It's something we are planning because of this particular issue. You understand? Because the point is that the law is the law. Whether you're in a village or you're not in a village,
you have to abide
buy
by
from a pharmacy shop or a licensed chemical shop.
I mean, I don't think we will ever have enough time to talk about this thing, but what I'll try and do is maybe once every 2 months try and get James in and
I'll be very happy.
You see, once every 2 months, sneak him in so that we find out what's happening on the market, what we should do and what we shouldn't do, because this has been educative. Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
I want to say thank you for Tantis, who makes my shirts for the show. And Tantis, you can reach the Tantis Fashion on 024-366-2001. And that's 024-366-2001. It's glad to be glad. Nice for calling in the show and sharing your concerns. It makes the show richer. And at least we get a better perspective. Thanks for me. Thanks to Jennifer producing, putting the show together. My name is Nana Nsakwa. Tomorrow we'll be back to do this all over again. Thank you for watching.